We know. We haven't seen this for a while. It's been a while, hasn't it? It has been a while. Thank Amazon for that as well. Amazon suppressed us. We were cancelled. Was
it Amazon? Was it just Amazon?
I don't know. That was weird. So anyone who tried to listen to the latest show on Alexa couldn't do it. And, Alexa. Now it's awake. Couldn't do it. And everybody who's downloaded the new podcast, it's about 2 races behind. And yeah, there's a couple of races we've kind of skirted over. I've been to Monaco and back and got so burnt. I got so burnt to the point where, well, there's a reason why me and my brother got burnt. Where are you going? This is a great start for a podcast where the podcast...
It's all right. It's a mostly audio medium, by the way.
Yeah. So we've got 2 races to get through. I've made some extensive notes, and we've got 2 predictions to add up. I don't know if we're going to get to pit talk, but let's give it a go, shall we? I mean...
Lots to talk about, mate.
We've got lots to talk about. Good race, bad race. Should we go straight away? A little bit of a burp there. How much wine you had?
Which one? Which good race? Bad
Hungarian
race?
and Belgium. We've got to do good race, bad race. Hungarian and Belgium. I want to talk about how there is a true changing of order now, and how I feel the top 10 are locked out for the 50% of the teams.
Well, let's get to that.
Yeah, this is my hypothesis, and let's get to it. Good race, bad race.
Steering wheel, somebody tell him to give it to me. Come on, move.
Hey, good race, bad race. So let's start with Hungarian Grand Prix, which happened...
Hungarian. Wow.
Years ago. Happened years ago. Let's...
Just to remind our listeners and viewers...
You go for it, mate.
The starting grid for that race will load in a second when my internet decides to play.
Yeah.
Because I had this all lined up, and then it's gone and...
Well, I'm going to share the screen for the results. I'm going straight for the results.
But you want to talk straight there?
We'll go straight. Did you want to do the starting grid for the Hungarian then? Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we can remind people how it started. Because
okay.
On pole position in the Hungarian Grand Prix was Lewis Hamilton. For the first time in a long time.
It was. Yeah.
Hey, you forgot about that, hadn't you?
I did forget about it. I've got other stuff to talk about. You can talk about the stuff that I haven't got written down. Yes.
Yeah, all right. So you write stuff down. Wow. So the starting grid was Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris.
Yeah.
Right. And then Piastri. So we had the 2 McLarens in 3rd and 4th. And then we had Joe in 5th. Remember?
Yeah.
Qualifying from the Alfa Romeo up in 5th. Leclerc in 6th. Bottas in 7th. There was an Alfa Romeo sandwich with Leclerc as a filling. Alonso in 8th. Perez in 9th. Another shocking performance in quali from Perez.
Yeah.
Hulkenberg in 10th. Another astounding performance from Nico on a 1-lap outing.
But that's all they can manage.
Yeah, but that's how it started.
Go on.
And then let's talk about how it finished.
Okay, let's talk about how it finished. Let's share the screen, which I just initially did, but let's do it again. Share. That's going to make my editing even more difficult. Okay, can we see? Can you see, sir? So we'll start from the bottom, right? We're going to start from the bottom. It was a shocker.
You realise the majority of our viewers are the people that enjoy this podcast.
How much have you drunk? Yeah, go on, right?
The majority of people that enjoy this podcast do so through the audio medium.
Okay, so we're going to go through the Hungarian Grand Prix results. You gave us a little bit of a snippet of the qualifying. Now we're going to go through the results. Okay, now we're going to say safely it was a shocker for Alpine. Safely,
absolute shocker for Alpine.
Yes, and Logan Sargent again. I'm going to say this man's on the way out. He's going to go the Nick de Vries way. Now one team has done it, has switched the driver. He's got to be. There's no. Go on. But who are they going to swap him with?
I'm winding back a bit to the Alpine. boys there, because they were very unlucky on that first lap incident where Danny Ricciardo got back-ended by Joe.
Yeah.
Joe had he had a stall at the start, anti-stall at the start. He was slow getting off. Then he backed into Ricciardo. He pushed into Ocon, and Ocon pushed into Gasly, and they all spun off in a happy little twist at the first corner. Ocon was retired straight away, and Gasly limped round with a limpy, busted tyre and was retired as well.
Okay.
So was it their fault?
I think Logan Sargent is. There was an overtake as well with Logan Sargent. Well, not an overtake. There was a moment where he span. He just can't take the pressure.
Yeah, he lost his concentration towards the end of the Grand Prix, didn't he?
You can't be doing that. But
they
then
only
again,
retired him towards the last couple of laps.
You can't be doing that when Albon is literally
knocking on the points.
Knocking on the points every time. Yeah, I think Logan Sargent, he won't be back next year.
You don't think?
No. I don't know what Williams' style is, whether they like to ditch a driver halfway, like our friends.
I think they're more tolerant. I think they'll give him a rookie year, and then he's a driver, and then you have to earn your beef.
Yeah.
And then if he doesn't earn it next year, I think he'll be out. I think I'll put a side wager on that he makes it to the end of the season and he's back next year.
You think he's back next year? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Without a point, I don't think he's got to score a point this year or he's out.
You think?
Because Albon is consistently in and out of the top 10, isn't he?
Interesting statistic at Spa that he was about 12 kilometers an hour faster on the straights than everyone else in the Williams car.
Who, Albon or Sargent?
Albon.
No, that doesn't surprise me because I think the car is good. Good, not it's not
brilliant. Yeah,
not brilliant,
right.
Obviously, yeah. K-Mag Haas just don't have it for the race, do they? Well, they didn't have it for the race this time.
And
so now
K-Mag needs to up his socks as well because he's getting out qualified and outperformed by Nico regularly now.
Really, it's becoming a bit of a thing.
He's becoming a second driver there
already. Blimey!
What do you mean already? We're halfway through the season, mate.
It feels. I know, but when you haven't got a Mick Schumacher, just a whipping boy in the gang, you feel the pressure, don't you? Joe, Tsunoda unlucky again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to make judgment. He did some good overtakes.
Yeah. He's actually stepped up his game since Ricciardo's been put in the team.
Yeah.
And
I think there's always going to be an element of that. It's the same with football. As soon as a new manager comes in, everybody ups their game, and it's just a new manager effect. It could be anyone. It's just not the guy that was there before. And I think that's a big part of what's happened with AlphaTauri. So it'll be a couple of events before we really see, once the novelty of Danny Rick being there has worn off and it becomes normalized, and then we can really truly see the race pace and the effect on the team.
And then we got Hulkenberg. So Danny Rick a bit lucky because he had an unlucky start. So you can't really judge him. I'm interested by the Alfa Romeo's race performance. Well, just the race, you don't see anything from them, and this is what I've noticed in the past two races. You don't see
over on that,
but they don't get any TV coverage or anything. I mean, well, we'll get to it, but the last race, did you see anything of Bottas?
Not really.
No, and it's becoming almost like they're fillers. I don't know.
It must be a strange atmosphere at the team at the moment because they are losing. It's a Sauber team, and they're losing the Alfa Romeo name, and that's all happening now. It's been announced recently who Alfa Romeo are going to. We can get to that later if you want.
Yeah.
But they're going to be the Sauber Formula One team next season, and then they're going to be become the Audi works team. So they're going to be Audi after that. So it's a weird sort of time of rebuilding and focusing on the future, not focusing on the now. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I suppose it's almost like, oh, don't worry, next year it's going to be better, or next year it's all new. It's a new start.
Next year we're going to be treading water again, and then the year after that it'll be all new, which is even more off-putting.
Yeah. Do you think Bottas will stay with him?
Unless he goes off and joins the professional cycling tour, which it looks like he's doing anyway.
Well, he's definitely rocking that mallet and that tash. He's looking. His eyes are on other things, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bottas 12.
He deserves a few years of having fun.
Yeah. Who's maybe pop in again? Take a year off and then do a Danny Rick. With Fernando Alonso. Whether he can reach those heights, I don't know. So then we got Albon 11th. Now this is what I'm postulating. Albon is the best of the lower teams. Discuss. Albon is the best of the lower teams.
Best driver or the best
consistent driver of the lower teams?
Remember, Yuki was on a run of 11 places.
Yeah, but this is about, for me now, now McLaren has made that step forward. The top 10 is locked out between Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, and Aston. The top 10 are locked out. And it's only driver mistakes, strategy errors, or just mechanical failures that will give the other lower teams, Haas, Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Alfa Tauri. Yeah.
I think Danny Rick and Yuki are going to be in the mix there.
In the top 10?
No, fighting for that 11th place with Bottas.
That's what I mean. We've got a clear. It's like we've got a clear split now.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that, but I don't think that Albon's the top of that. I think it's between him and Tsunoda and Ricciardo. If Ricciardo performs as we know he can. The car can obviously do it because Yuki's been up there. Yuki's been in 11th consistently. We spoke about it in previous weeks where Yuki was about to hit the record for the most consecutive placings in one position that wasn't first.
That's some kind of record, isn't it? They give you a trophy for that? They give you a trophy.
Little plastic.
I could imagine that engraved across it. Please say it again. How much have you had a drink? I've had a drink. It's been a long week.
I've only had
Say it again. Most consistent. What is it?
Most number of same position finishes outside of first position.
That's a trophy in itself, isn't it? That should be. So then we move in
this era of participation awards.
Oh yeah.
Things like that.
Everybody gets a certificate and a sticker. Yeah. Everybody gets a certificate and a sticker.
I'm not saying give them a sticker.
Stickers, mate. No, stickers. Tell me, mate. Stickers are the gold standard. Okay, so let's go to the top 10. The top 10, which consists of those 5 teams that I was talking about. So Max Verstappen is a team on his own. But we're not going to go for that. Let's go. Should we start there? Stroll. Let's get Aston Martin.
We're on an audio platform here, mate.
Yes, we're starting. Yeah, we're starting number 10, position 10 in the Hungarian Grand Prix. If you just tuned into this podcast, this is going to be all over the place, people. I'm telling you now.
Well, this is
we're trying to backtrack 2 races here. Okay, this has never been done. This should have a trophy. Most consistently.
I'll post you a sticker.
So Stroll 10 and Fernando Alonso 9. Now they're off the podium for closest to getting anywhere near Max Verstappen.
Yeah, they've kind of faded. Alonso's podium finishes have they seem like distant memories now. But that's the fun of new development cars and early development cars, is that it's random like this. There's good tracks, there's good period you change one tiny thing and boom, you'll be back down again. I think it's quite exciting, this whole the variety that we're seeing.
The variety we're seeing in the top 10 is great, but like I said, Verstappen is just on his own. It's
100%, yeah.
He's just. It doesn't matter where you plop him, and then we got Ferrari, who are they're just 7th and 8th for Ferrari. Is a good day now, isn't it?
It's not acceptable, is it?
It's don't say. It's it's not acceptable. You're absolutely right. Who they're going to say that to, I have no idea. A mechanic, maybe the person who cleans the toilet in Ferrari headquarters. It's not acceptable. Sainz ahead. No, Leclerc ahead of Sainz, which maybe a little bit of a relief for Leclerc, who's been consistently behind Sainz recently. And then we get George Russell, and then Piastri, who a bit unlucky, would you say? Piastri?
Yeah, very unlucky. Very unlucky not to be in 4th.
Yeah,
that was a pit stop. I think they put Hamilton in front.
Yeah. Hamilton, Perez scratching his way to 3rd. I like to say scratching because he's in a Red Bull.
He had a bad weekend, and then he pulled it out of the bag. And I think, given hindsight, I think that's the start of him starting to come back.
Do you think?
He's starting to feel his confidence again. Yeah, he's starting to put a weekend together. You put it in the wall in the first session of that.
Is it acceptable, dare I say it again, for him to have a bad weekend and put it back to 3rd?
Lewis Hamilton made a comment this last week that if he was in Checo's car, he would give Max a much harder time.
He would be giving Max a much harder time.
Yeah, I think that's all very, very entertaining speech, but the reality of it is that he's never going to get in a Red Bull.
You don't think so now, Hamilton?
No, I don't think. I would be very, very surprised if Lewis Hamilton ever stepped foot in a Red Bull.
I'll be very surprised if he makes it past next season. He's done.
You think?
I think if he doesn't get anywhere near winning a race next season, he's done. And not because of the interest, because he'll.
What about him going to Ferrari? What if he went to Ferrari and did a?
No, Chuck. They're just nowhere near the Red Bull. They're nowhere near Verstappen. It takes Verstappen.
What if you went and developed that car and did a Michael Schumacher? I think that at the moment is what separates Schumacher and Hamilton. Is Schumacher's ability to go to a team that are a bit sloppy, a bit on the bones of their arses, and turn them into a world championship team. And that, I think, is what Lewis Hamilton needs to do if he wants to claim the title of greatest of all time. If he wants to be known as the GOAT, that's the one thing that Schumacher hasn't done. Or that's one thing that Schumacher has done that he hasn't done.
We're all very tired tonight, aren't we? No, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's going from the back to the front again.
Yeah. It's one thing driving a car. And, all this about, it's boring because Max is dominating. Shut up. Nobody was complaining. You weren't complaining in this stage when you were out in front.
Yeah, and it does go in these cycles, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It was a Schumacher, then it was Hamilton.
They've been lucky the fact that Newey's still going.
Where does Button fit in that? Button fits in that in the kind of strain. He never dominated, but he stuck with a team, and then it was developed around him. I don't know. Do you see what I mean? No. Okay.
You make a point there. You just mumbled some words.
I mumbled words. So Perez 3rd, Norris 2nd.
I think you've got to love the fact that McLaren are up there in the mix. That's
absolutely
great to see.
Norris, but the thing is, Norris ahead of a Red Bull.
Yeah,
that's
by 4 seconds by the end of it.
Yeah. So, is this a proper resurgence from McLaren? I hope so. I really do. And Verstappen obviously crushed it because he wherever he finishes, he finishes. Okay, let's go to the Belgian Grand Prix. we're going to the back of the grid for the Belgian Grand Prix. Piastri.
I'll put my hands up and say I think that was Sainz's fault.
You think that was Sainz's fault? I think that was Piastri's fault.
I think Sainz turned in on him. Piastri was ahead at the start of the corner. Sainz had space on the outside. He had Hamilton on the outside, but there was space. He could have kept on. He turned in early, and he could have let Piastri through without
let him through, or give him room.
He would have given him room. Yeah, he would have given him room without him pushing into the wall. I'd say that's firmly, and he knows it, and that's why he said, "Oh, anybody with experience knows that you can't go 3 abreast into that corner." He's covering up his mistake.
I don't know. I don't think Piastri. I think Piastri
You're not on social media, are you? You're not on the. You don't see the Instagram videos of them shown from all the different angles, and you watch from Piastri's car, from Sainz's car. You see the fact that Sainz has got space to Hamilton's wheel. He could have stayed out, but he turned in, and you can see Piastri coming. Whether he saw Piastri or not, he knew.
Was he not trying to avoid a collision with Hamilton?
No. Piastri was much closer, and he would have seen Piastri being that close.
Okay, I thought it was Piastri's fault, but yeah.
If you're going round the right-hand corner, you're going to be looking in your right-hand mirror. You're not going to be watching the car on the outside, are you?
Oh, that's not what I'm not driving around Spa though. I'm driving on the M2 or breaking down on the A10 just outside Fontainebleau, which is don't even get me started. Okay, right. We'll agree to differ that. Nico Hülkenberg back of the grid.
Yeah.
Back. Logan Sargent again. The boy's out.
You think?
Yeah. Danny Rick as well, not good. And that was was that an incident-free race for Danny Rick? I think it was.
Yeah. But it's only his second race. Come on, give him a break.
Isn't it his third?
No, it's his second race. Hungary was his first race back.
Okay. Haas, again, great in qualifying.
Haas are where we always expect them to be honest. But the worrying thing at Haas is that, Magnussen's there again. Hülkenberg, do we want to see the starting grid for Spa?
Yeah. Do you want to share it? We'll do that.
Hang on. Where are we? Which one's this?
Yeah, he's just clicking on some buttons here, podcast listeners. We've got a bit of a bad connection. We're sorry about that.
Thought it was quite good this week.
Well, it's.
So this is the starting grid for the Spa Grand Prix. We go start at the back.
Yeah, go for it.
Hülkenberg at the back. Danny Rick 19th. So Danny Rick made up a couple of places. Sargent 18th, Joe 17th, Magnussen 16th, Albon 15th, Ocon 14th, Bottas 13th, Gasly 12th, Tsunoda 11th, Stroll 10th, Alonso 9, Russell 8, Norris 7, Verstappen 6th because of his grid penalty because of an engine. We're going to get into that now with the second half.
Well, have you noticed that the top 10 is
Piastri,
those five teams?
Yep.
Those five
Piastri
teams.
in 5th, Sainz in 4th, Hamilton in 3rd, Perez 2nd, and Leclerc on pole.
Okay, you're going to put the race results up? Yeah, go for it.
And there we go.
There we go. Right, so Piastri DNF, Carlos Sainz DNF. That's important for the result. Okay, these are the two teams that I'm saying are in the top 5 teams now.
Yeah,
didn't finish. So 2 cars didn't finish from those top 5 teams. Okay, then we look at the top 10, and you see that there is a clear split. Like I'm saying, in the 20 teams, there's a clear split between 5 teams and 5 teams now, because those bottom 5 teams have got to wait for the Mercedes, McLarens, Red Bulls, Ferraris, and Astons to break down, and that's it. And I think that's it now till the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't think that's unfair.
Alfa Romeo not too bad there.
Alfa Romeo did all right. There was a bit of, I think overall, with the Belgian Grand Prix, I think it was a lot of good overtaking. There was a lot of battles on track. There was a lot of position shifting. If you look at Lando Norris, for example, who we'll get to, ended up in 7th. At one point, he was down in 17th, and it wasn't just because he had pitted. He was running in 17th, but then he managed to drive and strategy and tires, and he couldn't get any speed out of it. He had too much downforce on the car. He admitted that after the race, but he still managed 7th position, which just emphasizes your points that they're in the top 10 now. They're those. So they're the top 5 constructors.
If we scroll up to the top 10, just scroll up a little bit. Let's get the top 10. Okay. Can you scroll down a tiny bit so we get the 10? Yeah. No, one more. I can't quite see the 10. Jeez. Sorry, podcasters. Now I can't see the winner, but it doesn't matter. It's Verstappen. Okay. So, what's he doing? Okay, so in 10th is Tsunoda. And then we've got
regular just in the points.
And 9th, Lance Stroll, still clinging onto his race seat there. Daddy's still.
He's just in a very good car.
It can't be long for him, though, can it?
No.
But he's in an Aston Martin. And then you get Esteban Ocon.
Aston Martin driver coming back.
Who's coming back?
There's only ever been one other Aston Martin driver.
Please tell me, because it's been a long week.
Possibly Vettel.
Wowzers. Yeah, but that wouldn't surprise me at all. It's the same with Danny Rick. He fell out of love with it. And then a year away, they're like, oh, I really liked that. And then we've got Ocon in 8th. So as you can see, that top 10, because of at the bottom, you have Sainz and Piastri not finishing. You get those lower 5 teams popping into the top 10. So this just reinforces what I'm saying.
Esteban Ocon had a really
he did. There were some great overtakes from that man. He's quite tasty in that car. He's way more tasty than Gasly. Way more tasty. It makes
you wonder why. What have they done wrong, or has everyone else done really well? I mean, if we're not doing pit talk, let's get into the fact that Otmar was fired, right? Yeah. And Alan Pomain, that's not right. That's everyone's talking about Fred Vasseur at Ferrari, and that you won't see the effect of his influence until late into next season, right? Otmar's been there the same length of time, and he's been binned off because nothing's happening. All the people Otmar hired to make a difference to that team, he took some time. He looked at what was needed. He found the people that could fix it. He offered them contracts. They're all riding out their contracts. They start with the company next year. How can you fire someone after that? You've asked them to come in and sort the team out. He's in the process of that, and then you just pull the rug out from under him and bin him off. It's not right. Unless there was inherent issues within the structure that hired him, which is a bigger issue and probably why Prost left, then you've really got to question the team in general.
Wow, that was you've given this some thought, haven't you? Wow.
You mean I've watched some clips?
Yeah. He's watched a few YouTube videos from way better podcasters and way better content creators.
I've done my own research.
I can see by all the tabs at the top there. Look at all this. F1 news. Look at you. So,
see all that.
Yeah. Well, we'll remember that for another time, shall we? Oh, look, monkey porn. Oh, anyway.
Monkeys? No, don't be disgusting. It's all monkeys.
So, again, 5th for Alonso. So that's the best that this Aston Martin team are going to do now. It's just.
I thought it was a really good Grand Prix. Some really good overtaking. Some really interesting battles on track. It would have been nicer to see Perez closer to Verstappen. There was some ballsy, Lance Stroll slammed on the brakes.
This is just
the bus stop corner.
This just reinforces for me how Verstappen is just in a league of his own, isn't he? He started behind Perez. Perez had the lead of the race, same car, and Perez finishes 22 seconds behind. I mean, it's just.
Does the performance, does the entertainment value of that Grand Prix over the weekend, and I thought that the threat of rain, when it actually rained, the strategy of it, everything made it an exciting race. It's an exciting track. Listening to Verstappen lift going through Eau Rouge, and then still wobble at the back end where there was nobody around him, no pressure, but the peril, it's just a great track, isn't it?
It's dangerous, though, isn't it? As we found out this weekend.
Yes, yeah, 100%, right? And Martin Brundle covered that quite eloquently on a video on Sky Sports. Go check it out.
I will do. Look at that. No advertising.
Inherently a dangerous sport, And if you ever worry about that, you can't be driving the car.
I would say to that is one of the bedrock kind of questions in Formula One. I would say, yeah, you're right.
Well, that's easy.
There you go. You're right. I'm not even going to mention Jackie Stewart and how much I admire the man for improving safety and things like that. But yeah, you're right. It's not the same. It's not the same as the 70s where you're losing one driver or two drivers.
Currently, it's always under review, right? Safety is always under review, but no matter how safe the race gets, it's inherently dangerous.
Yes,
competitive people. It's the most competitive people in their sport, at the pinnacle of their sport, in the most complex, fastest machines they can have, on the most complex and difficult tracks they can find, pushing it to the limit.
They're pushing it to the limit. And do you know what? I think Murray's got something to say about that.
Oh, does he? What's he got to say?
Okay, mate. We'll get back to it.
You should watch that video that Brundle put up. I'll send you a link.
Send me a link, definitely. I will watch that after this. Okay.
Yeah.
What happened there? Oh, okay. So, we'll go straight to predictions, I think. Or do you want to do a bit of pit talk?
Let's do a little bit of pit talk, just about all the crazy, silly season that started.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. You can lead pit talk then, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, mate.
Like a buried up a drain pipe.
Oh, thanks, Murray.
Yeah, thanks, Murray.
He's always there to guide us. Always.
And provide those nuggets
the
of
Father,
wisdom.
the Son, and the Murray Walker. That's what I say. Okay, so we're going to go for a little bit of pit talk, aren't we? Let's do a little bit of pit talk. You've got a lot. You had a lot on you. You got a lot off your chest earlier about Off-Man Floffler. Okay, so let's do pit talk.
Pit talk.
Pit talk. Go for it, sir. You go for it.
So it's really the start of silly season, as we've spoken about. It's a lot of the big news going into Spa was about Alpine clearing house again, getting rid of their sporting director and their team principal. There's a lot of people voicing their opinion on whether this is right or not. Does the Renault brand have enough patience for Formula One? It's going to take a lot of time to build a brand that's strong enough to compete against the front runners, and that's what they're wanting to do. And it's like, guys, give it time, but they seem to be impatient. So that's happening. There's talk.
Why would a brand be impatient? It seems a kind of a strange concept. Like Formula One is a long game, isn't it? If you
Lawrence Stroll, who's one of the most ambitious men in the sport at the moment, has said that he wants Aston Martin fighting within 5 years. He's poured a ton of cash into it, and visibly risen the game of that. And they're having flashes of the future, and you can see them chomping their way up, right? Alpine have done none of that. They brought in Saf now. They've given him a year and a half. Now they're kicking him out. they said within 100 races, they've not even given them half of that yet. You know, I really feel he's been hard done by. And Alan Permain has only ever been with that team. You know, with, I think, is it Minardi that they used to be? Or Benetton? Wow. They were Benetton, I think. But they, you know.
Oh, no. What, they can't have been. I can remember Benetton and Minardi racing together, so I can't see. I don't think they were Benetton were Renault, and this whole brand changing thing, it gets very confusing. Minardi were different to Benetton. Benetton, yeah, they raced together. So anyway,
hang on. So Alan Permain, he started with Benetton, and he stayed with the Enstone.
What
company.
year did he start with Benetton? What year?
1989.
Yeah, that's Benetton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been with that same team while it was Lotus, while it was
Whoa. So can it be that Lotus had this? No, I know you're laughing, but Lotus had this floaty kind of name that after Lotus folded, it got attached to other teams. Do you see what I mean? Because in 1989, Benetton and Lotus were two separate teams. This is what I'm saying. This is where I've.
So in 2000, the team that was the Benetton team was bought by Renault.
Yeah. So that would have been when Alonso and that.
But it was owned by Renault.
Yeah.
But it ran under the Lotus F1 team name. Then it transitioned to Renault.
Doesn't this become like a bit like Trigger's Broom with these teams where it's one team, then it's called another team, then it's not called another team, and now it's just becomes it becomes the name, doesn't it? So it becomes Lotus. Because I remember when when Renault became Lotus, and they adopted the same livery, you know, the gold and black of Lotus.
Yeah,
and it becomes tricky, it becomes just a brand in the end. So you can't. I don't know. It gets confusing for me when this kind of thing happens. So it'll be like, oh, this team was this team, and it winds up. They decide that on the factor that they're using the same factory, or you see what I mean?
Yeah.
At least that was then concrete. You could track the timeline of a team because of where the factory was, and maybe the mechanic or the people that work there. But when it becomes just a brand, it becomes this kind of like ethereal thing. They were called Lotus, and they were called this, they were called that, and it's like, well, who were they? You know, Renault can't just go, we're going to call ourselves Lotus now. You can't have that history. You can't just go, oh, what? Oh, it's a Lotus. No, it's not.
That's what Alfa Romeo. That's the thing with Sauber. Sauber are the Formula One team. This is the one that most people will recognize that are listening right now. Sauber is the name of the Formula One team. You know, they've had many title sponsors over the years. Most recently, Alfa Romeo. Before that, who are they?
It could be Alpha Tauri, or do you know what I mean? What was the Manor team? You know, who were they? You know, it was Force
Sauber
India.
is going to go on and become Audi now. You know,
but you lose that lineage. Williams is still Williams.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes, they're one of the genuine teams.
McLaren, are they still McLaren? They're still McLaren.
Yes. So it was Sauber.
That was a lot slower, that yes, wasn't it? It was a lot.
Then slower. It was BMW factory team. Then it was Sauber with Ferrari engines up until 2018. They were so they've been Sauber quite a lot, but then they've had Alfa Romeo since 2018. It's Ross Brawn's team that he started from scratch is now Mercedes.
Well, he didn't say it was Honda, wasn't it?
What was it?
It was Honda.
Did Ross Brawn buy that, or did he?
He bought it.
Under. So who
bought it? He bought the factory. I don't know if he bought the factory, but he bought the team, and it was the Honda team. And the Ross Brawn's car in 2009 was developed a lot by the previous year's team, which was Honda BAR. It was. Do you see what I mean? It becomes very well. Who is the team? So when Ross Brawn bought it, you could say it's a Brawn now, and then it became a Mercedes. But he bought it from Honda, so the development on the Honda car for the next year, they were developing that car in 2008, and they had to sack loads of people because Honda pulled out. But the car was brought forward into the Brawn team, and they openly admitted this is for the guys who we had to fire from Honda, who weren't Honda, obviously, who developed this car last year. So
it's that. But there's basic there's teams that are there, and they just change the title sponsors, and I think that's what's happening, and that's what's happened quite a lot.
No, I don't mind them changing the sponsors, but when you start taking on legacy names like Lotus, it's a different kettle of fish. You can't. I mean, like
Aston Martin.
Who were they before? So now we've got to play this game of who were they before.
But have they raced in Formula One before? That's a legacy name.
They haven't. From my memory, which is extensive, there's not been an Aston Martin on the Formula One grid. But they bought that from another team.
Well, it's
and then they take the knowledge of the car.
India. It was
exactly.
Racing Point.
It was Racing Point. Then who was it before? But they've taken the collective knowledge of other people. So let's say Aston Martin they bought the team, but they bought all the development from the Force India, if it was Force India before, and all the development on the car for the next year. So they bought all that they bought the intellectual property, but that intellectual property was created under a different team, different name, and they've put their name on it. Here's your badge now. Here's your colour shirt now. You're Aston Martin. When the development of the team has been something completely different, it's a shaky peg.
They raced. Their first entry was in 1959 at the Dutch Grand Prix.
Who, Aston Martin?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they raced in the company first appeared in 1959 season, where they debuted the DBR4 chassis, and they continued poorly through the 1960 season, and they left Formula One after 1960. So they did 2 seasons.
So what did that team? And then they did the whole factory shut down, or did someone buy it?
I think so, yeah. Commercial rebranding of the Racing Point F1 team, who before they were Racing Point was Force India.
Yeah. And what were they before that?
They were Force India. Sahara Force India.
To all the podcast listeners, to all one of you who are still listening, we're going to get through this. We've got predictions yet for 2 races we've got to add up. Go on anyway, yeah?
Oh, yeah, right. So before that, they were...
Can you see what I mean? It becomes this kind of game of what's the lineage.
So another comment that was made in the pits over the last week is about Lance Stroll maybe losing his mojo, which we've been speaking about. It's quite visible that he's not cutting the mustard. The driver that was going back to Aston Martin potentially is Nico Hülkenberg. There's chat about that, but it's just starting to pick up. There's a lot of stuff in the press which people need to be aware of about George Russell being replaced at the Mexican Grand Prix and such being replaced at the such and such Grand Prix. Just everyone calm down and remember that the Formula One teams it's in the contract as part of the racing regulations that they have to have a rookie race or a rookie drive in the FP
an FP session. It's not being replaced.
So, and that's Sergio Perez being replaced at this Grand Prix and Max Verstappen being
But this
replaced.
is where it just becomes clickbait, isn't it? It's just
exactly. So just be cautious of that. Silly season hasn't properly started. It probably has started, but we are not hearing about it yet. Certainly.
But don't you feel like silly season is just the whole way through the season, isn't it? Really?
Well, there's a lot of people, not so many this year, but there's a lot of people next year that are their contracts up. There's the ongoing Lewis Hamilton contract negotiations that are, they're constantly going on, and it'll end up being 2-year deal that he does with Mercedes, and that'll be fine, and everybody knows that's going to happen. But the other stuff, everyone else is into the end of 24. So there's no, unless people get fired, I don't think there's going to be much movement in drivers this season.
This season, I think Logan Sargent, but then he's in a Williams, and I don't think they. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. That's not Williams' style. No, that's a Red Bull AlphaTauri style, because that's what they've done it before. They'll do it again. Once you do it once, halfway through a season, well, we can do it whenever we want. Do you think? And I don't think any other
your first murder is always the hardest one, apparently.
But I don't think any other team have done it. So it's only been Red Bull that have done that switch halfway through the season. So shall we go on to predictions? So we got to.
You should predict.
We've got to add up a lot of points here. You're on 97, I'm on 81.
We're going to bring them up for people to see, listen to in colour.
You will listen to it in colour. Well, right. So let's get the Hungary results and let's do the totals here.
All right, so I need the results then, yeah?
You get the results. I'll get the screen up for the totals. You tell me what happened.
Right, I've got the results.
You've got the results.
Make sure it's the results and not the starting grid.
Okay. So we've got to add up the points here. Am I sharing the screen? Not yet. No. Am I?
Yeah. If you want. I mean.
Am I doing it right now? That's what I'm asking. Did I push the right button?
No, you're not currently.
Okay. Share screen. Here we go, people. And all podcast listeners, all one of you, if you're still hanging on to this disastrous.
I wouldn't say it's disastrous. This is fun.
This is fun for us, isn't it? It's about us. It's not about you who's listening. How dare you eavesdrop on this?
So I have to give a shout out to my friend Rob.
Okay.
Who lives in the BVI. He came to visit this weekend.
Hello, Rob.
And yeah, he enjoys listening to the podcast because he says it's like hanging out with me. So
well,
that was quite.
Do you drink a lot with him?
And you know, but he doesn't know you.
Do you drink a lot with him?
Funnily enough.
Good. Funny enough, he's really going to feel at home this week. Right, let's get a pen. Let's add up some points here. Okay, so let's negotiate our way to the pen. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So here we go. This is Hungarian Grand Prix results. Who came first, sir?
Max Verstappen, just for a change. 2
points for you, sir. Who came second?
Lando Norris. Don't think anyone got that, did they?
No, but you've got Norris in fifth. Shall I read out your predictions and just give you the points? Okay. So Verstappen, you got 2 points. Hamilton, where did he come?
Hamilton was fourth.
So you get 1 point for Hamilton because you put him in second. Alonso, where did he come?
Ninth.
You get a point for him in top 10, but you put him in as third. Perez, where did he come?
Perez was third.
You get a point for him because you put him as fourth. Norris, where did he come?
Second.
You get a point for him. You're still getting the consistency here. You get a point for him. You put him in as fifth. Science, I can just see it was a Science. Where did he come?
Eighth.
You get a point for him. Russell, seventh. You put him in for. Where did he come? Sixth. Oh, you get a point for him. Piastri, where did he come?
Fifth.
We get a point for him. Albon, where did he come?
Alex Albon was 11th.
You don't get nothing for that boy. And Danny Rick didn't get in the top 10. Okay.
No, he was 13th.
He was 13. And what was your pole position? Max, yeah? No, it wasn't. It was Hamilton, wasn't it? No points for that. Yeah?
Pole position was Lewis, was pole position.
No points.
And fastest lap was Max.
Oh, point. And
with
what was
a time of 1 minute 20.5.
1 minute 20.5, and you get a point for that. 5-0 doesn't matter. You get a point for that because you're closer by 0.0 by 1,000th of a second. You were closer because I just copied yours. Really.
Brilliant.
Okay, so I get 2 points for Max. Nothing for the pole. I didn't get nothing for the fastest lap and nothing there. Okay, that's how I got for win. I got Alonso second, so I get a point because he finished again. Where did he finish?
Hang on. Alonso. Well, no, back up. I was getting off the. Alonso was 9th.
Yeah, so I get a point. Norris, I get a point. Where did he finish? Sorry, Norris.
2nd.
Oh, I disappoint.
Because he broke the trophy on the podium.
He did break the trophy on the podium, and he tried to play it off like he didn't do anything. And I thought that was a bit naughty of him. He knew he broke that trophy, and there was a little bit of a conversation during the press conference as well. It got a bit salty, did it? No, it didn't really. Where did Hamilton come again?
4th.
Oh, 2 points for me there.
2 points for that.
Yeah. Piastri, where did he come?
5th.
Oh, 2 points for that.
2 points for that as well. Wow.
Oh, stay awake, buddy. Where did Russell come?
6th. 2 points for that.
Oh, this is a resurgence.
Really on a streak.
Where did Leclerc come?
Oh, you're kidding me. 7th.
Oh my word! Oh my word! This is.
Have you been in and changed these?
No. This is a screenshot. Look at the screenshot. You can see. Look in the corner. Can you see the screenshot? Okay, Albon. Where did he come? He didn't come in the top 10, did he?
He was 11th.
No, Danny Rick. Perez. Where did he come?
Perez was 3rd.
So I get a point for him. Okay, let's just do these totals up now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for you. Where's my 10? 11. 11 for you. Let's just put that there. Right, okay, 11. Let's count my points. I'm quite excited now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 for me. It's not a big haul.
Where's the totals, by the way?
I've got the totals written here, don't worry.
Oh, you've got them written down, have you?
No, people who go through the podcast can listen.
We've
right?
got no digital evidence of
I've got it written down here, right? You started out with 97. I started out with 81. Okay, I'm going to add these up right now, live on the podcast.
No pressure, Mr. Maths.
Mr. Maths. Oh, right. 7, 8. You're on 108, I'm on 94. So you've still got a healthy lead. Let's now check out what happened. Stop sharing for a second.
In Spa.
In Spa. And we're out at the points. Okay, Spa.
Let's do let's do pole position and fastest lap first.
Go for it.
I'll wait for you to.
I'm sharing the screen.
There we go.
There we go.
Right.
Now, pole position we didn't get because of the goddamn change in this. Don't even get me started on why they do this sprint race thing that changes everything. I'm not interested anymore.
Why didn't we do the pole?
Because the sprint race happened. The sprint race happened on the Saturday.
We didn't get them in on time.
And we didn't get them in on
we didn't
time.
get them in on time.
Oh,
yeah.
So no one got a point there.
0 points. 0 point. Fastest lap, right?
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton. Neither of us get that.
Nothing there. Okay. Who won the race? We both.
Hang on. 1 minute 47.5. 0.3 was the fastest lap.
God. I got 1 minute 40.
Oh, we're going to go
3-1.
3:05.
I can't work out who's closest. I can't. I've had too much to drink, buddy. Who's won that point? Who's won that point?
You're going to have to do some maths.
3:05. I think you've got that point. I'm going to give you that point. I don't think I've got that.
I need the points.
You need the points, do you? Right. So go for it. Who won the race? Verstappen. We both get 2 points.
Well, we know who won the race. It was Max Verstappen.
Second. Oh, so you're back on the game here. Perez, isn't it?
Perez was second, yeah.
So you got 2 points. Who was third? Oh, hang on. Where did...
third.
No way. 2 points for you. Who was fourth?
Hamilton was fourth.
So you only get 1 point for Hamilton because you got him sixth. I'm really confused now. Guys, if you're out there, don't do a podcast when you've had a drink. That's the rule.
We're not doing a podcast. We're doing a plonk cast.
We're doing a plonk cast this week. Okay, right. You got Norris fourth. Where did he come?
Norris was seventh.
So you get a point. Piastri, where did he come?
DNF.
Nothing for you. Hamilton, you get a point because you're in the top 10. Where does Sainz come?
DNF.
Yeah. Alonso
was fifth.
Okay, so you get a point. I've got De Vries there, and he's on his side because that's actually Ricciardo. Okay.
Does that mean to be Danny Rick?
Yeah, Danny.
So he was outside the top 10, so zero for that.
Albon.
0 for Albon, yeah.
Okay. So Piastri, where did he come again?
DNF.
The GOAT, where did he come?
Fourth.
I get 1. Alonso.
Fifth.
1 point for Alonso. Norris.
Seventh.
Point for Norris. Perez came second, so I get a point for him. Leclerc
was third.
Point. I get a point. I got him in the 7th. Stroll.
9th. You got a point for Stroll, you nugget. What are you doing?
9th. I thought you said 9.
9th.
9th. I get a point. Okay. I thought you were doing a German accent and doing 9. Okay. Sonoda. No.
10th. So you got a point for.
Oh, I do get a point for
him.
And Ocon
was 8th. So you got a point for him.
Ooh, not bad haul. Right, let's add up your points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get a square 10 there. Okay, let's write this down here. You get another 10. So you're on 118. Okay, so mine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I get 10. I get 104. So here we are. At the end of totaling up both races of this complete calamitous podcast.
Can we get the scores written on the screen? So
I'm just about to do it. I'm building up to it. This is called a build up.
Just do it.
This is called a build up. Okay. You are.
Casting. You're trying to make me forget my number. I had 119.
Yeah. It wouldn't take me much to motor you truck. I'll tell you that. 118.
119.
No, 118, mate. You got 10 for that one.
All right, yeah.
Nice try. Oh, I see. Okay. And I get 104. Here we go. There you go. And that is predictions. Now we're all up to date. Guys, if you've got to the end of this podcast and you're not trapped under some fallen log or in the mouth of a crocodile, did you see that in the news?
No.
Anyway, some footballer got dragged off by a crocodile. It was... Anyway, so if you're not... We have managed to do the predictions and chat about 2 races in one really badly with some alcohol down us. So if you're...
I thought it was quite good, actually. Well, I don't think it was bad.
Well, we think it was great because we're tipsy, but people who are listening who aren't, who are travelling to work...
Well, do you know what, Wayne? We don't know what they think because they never send us
They don't send us
feedback. Send us some feedback. You're still listening.
So just say, guys, terrible, and we're living up to our name of the lowest quality. That's what we're doing. Let's stop sharing that screen for stars. Look at that. So 118 for you, 104 for me. So let's stop sharing. So yeah, that has been the predictions. Did we do an intro to the predictions? I don't think we did. I'll try and squeeze it in when someone says to do predictions. I'll squeeze the intro in there. Anything else? Go on.
I would like to shout out to the 3 people in Sheffield that put up with us last week and downloaded us. The 2 people in Wolverhampton, and the 1 person in lots of different places: Franklin, Indiana, Whitby, Ontario, Sleaford, Lincolnshire. If you're those people, let us know.
Just let us know. Yeah, you can tell us if we're terrible. There's a guy in Delhi
that downloads us every week. Let us know. Yeah,
just let us know.
There's a guy in Armagh, and Caerphilly, and Liverpool, and Croydon, and Birmingham, and Melbourne, Victoria.
And the thing is, you don't even know if their phones are just doing it. They're just downloading it. If you are in any of these places, please just put a comment. Just tell us how terrible we are.
I know who they are in the BVI, and a big shout out to those guys, to Rob and Gordon. Hiya.
Yeah. Okay, so in other news, I've been to Monaco this week, and I've done a little track walk of Monaco. Me and my brother did it. We made it down there.
Can we say about the YouTube video you've posted on our channel?
Are you the only viewer of that? The first. He's not. He's puking. What's going on?
No, you're taking a shit, but he was puking.
He was puking. I posted my first YouTube short because I'm such a boomer. This is my
down with the kids.
Down with the kids. I'm down with the kids. I posted a YouTube short, people. I managed to negotiate that, of me on the ferry on the way back. I made a pilgrimage as an F1 fan. It is a pilgrimage to Monaco because I've always wanted to walk around the track in Monaco. And
did you enjoy it, mate? Was it what you thought it would be?
It was. Yeah, it was. We pulled in there. It was quite standing. Me and my brother parked in this multi-story car park, and in Monaco, and it gave you how much it would cost, and in our brains it was going to cost like 20 quid for an hour or something like that. And we pulled in, and you go in this car park, and each bay. First of all, they're spraying air freshener around this car park. It's unbelievable, right? And each bay has their own little cubicle, and we were driving through in my brother's lovely little car that didn't quite make it, but it was a £600 car. The fact that my brother's £600 car, a Daihatsu Terios, I think it was. Yeah. And the fact that it made it, and we pulled into this car park, this multi-story car park, and all the other cars were all covered up, and you knew they were sports cars. And we pulled in, we were stopped there for an hour. And on the way out, I thought, I'll just dip to the toilet. And the toilet in this multi-story car park was better than the toilet I have in my flat. Hang on,
you didn't go for a pee in the stairwell.
No, exactly. This is what I should have posted a video of this toilet. And I walked in, it was like, I was half expecting a man to be there to go, would you like some aftershave, sir? You know, this was the poshest multi-story car park. Yeah. And I wanted to take a photo of it. This is better than my own bathroom.
So whereabouts in Monaco was it? Was it on the Grand Prix track?
Don't tell me where it was. This was under a hotel. Okay. So anyway, right, this multi-story car park was beautiful. As we drove in, we saw the guy who was monitoring all these cars that were highly expensive, and we just thought that guy's being paid more than me, and he's just monitoring. Was
there some music playing on?
It was unbelievable, and we came out, and me and my brother walked the track, and I've videoed it, and I'm going to post it online tonight onto our illustrious YouTube channel. So if you know about our YouTube channel, go to that. You'll see me and my brother walk the track. What do you think? How long did it take us to walk the track? Give us your estimation of how long it took me and my brother to walk the track.
Hour and a half.
54 minutes to walk the whole track from. We didn't start at the start finish line. Where did we start? Oh, where was it? You'll see on the YouTube channel. It was.
Yeah, no spoilers, please.
Casino Royale. We started at Casino Royale, right? Okay.
Right.
We started there. Casino Square, yeah, but that's where Casino Royale is. Yeah. Casino Square. We started there, down to the hill.
I got thrown out of there for using a phone once.
See,
back
always.
in the day.
Why have you got to do this? I never mentioned the Queen once in this. How dare you? No, you're mate, you're the benchmark, mate. For Monaco, you're the benchmark. You've done the best of the bench of Monaco. So I walked, and that's why me and my brother walked around the track. I GoPro'd it, the whole thing. It's going online on the F1 show YouTube channel. Yeah. It's 50.
You'll get at least one view.
You'll get one view of me walking 54 minutes around. And I do put a few insights about, so-and-so crashed here, so-and-so crashed here. This was the point where Senna...
This is where Perez faked his crash so that he could clinch pole position.
Perez? No. It was Leclerc.
And Leclerc did it as well.
Well, I talk about that. I get to that point and I talk about it. But
you have your foil hat on.
My tinfoil hat on. I make a wrong turn myself and I get told off by a policeman. Nice. And and you can just see how manic Monaco is actually when there's no racing going on, guys. So
I look forward to watching it, mate.
It'll be up tonight. I finished doing it today. It'll be up tonight. There's a little video of us. What's that?
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
We're timing up.
We've got 2 minutes. I'm done now. I've just got back. I'm so sunburned. It was so hot.
Anyway, that's been the Formula. That's been the Everyone Show podcast.
That has been the F1 Show podcast, people. The Promptcast. I've been the host from the most, and he's been the man in the pits with the tits.
That's the pits up there.
There's the pits, and we'll see you, and we'll do a prediction. We're gonna have a break.
Couple of weeks.
But we'll be back.
We'll see you on the flip side, guys.
More silly season, and do our predictions for the next race, which is where. Doesn't know where
Italy,
it is.
Italy somewhere.
It's not. Well, there's only 2 plus San Marino. We've done that. It's not Spa. We've done Spa. Have we done Spa? I've no idea.
Not Italy, mate. It's Zandvoort in Holland.
No, I'm in.
It's in Zandvoort. It's in Zandvoort.
No one got that right. So yeah, we'll see you next time, guys.
See you next time, guys.
Thank you.